Hello Wolfpack. Now we've got about, let's just see here, around 3 days. So 3 days exactly, 72 hours roughly until the weekly candle close. I'm going to be covering what we've spoken about in the previous videos. I'm also going to be bringing up a new topic, and that topic is in regards to this resistance box over here. And it's also in regards to US inflation and the S&P 500 and how the traditional markets are looking slightly better than they were before. Nothing confirmed yet, but we need to look into it. So first and foremost, short video, just reiterating the previous point. So what is my view on Bitcoin? My view on Bitcoin is essentially this. Okay, I'm bearish on Bitcoin macro at this point in time because of the 4-year cycle theory. The 4-year cycle theory suggests we see a bottom in Q4. It's not Q4 yet. There's obviously other reasons around that, but that's the main point I'm trying to make here. I'm also aware of the fact that Bitcoin can have an invalidation and break to the upside. Okay, and this is where my invalidation point comes in. Obviously, we're seeing a pump right now. We broke out of a bear flag to the upside. The stock market in the United States of America is pumping a little bit. It went from like 3,600 to around 3,900, almost 4,000 here. So it's gone up quite a bit. It's gone up like 10-15%. And obviously the CPI is still rising, but that's a lagging indicator because it measures the month before. So realistically, if you're speaking from an objective standpoint, there is a chance that inflation has topped out. And we have seen previously that when inflation tops out, the S&P 500 tops out, but we'll look at in a second. So essentially, yeah, we've got a bear flag, broke to the upside. We're seeing resistance support flip. Whether that holds or not is not up. It doesn't really matter. It's, what we need to be looking at really is 3 days from now. And I'm looking, if we see a weekly candle close over 23.8K, I would be happy to say that the bottom is in on Bitcoin. Now, I previously said a weekly candle close above the 200-week SMA. Why did I say that? Well, the 200-week SMA is obviously this green line here, which is the major macro support line for Bitcoin in terms of a moving average. It's the most important support line Bitcoin has, in my opinion. And it's only been lost once after 16 months over the period of Bitcoin's lifespan of continuous retests. It's only been lost once, and that is now in 2022. And so I said, yeah, look, seeing as it was the strongest support zone, it makes sense for it to be the strongest resistance zone. And so if we break above it, that's probably a good indication that the drop is over. I'm now going to go ahead and say that, I'd actually want to see a break above 23.8K rather than just the 200-week SMA. Why? Because I need some confirmation to make a macro invalidation. Also, we have seen many small drops that have not been sustained above the 200-week SMA before or below it before. And so it would make sense for us to be, it would make sense if we closed above it just slightly and then drop back down, because it's happened in the past. Like as I just said in the COVID drop, we dropped below it before. It didn't actually materialize into anything. And then also back here, we had many wicks below it in 2015. It didn't materialize into anything. So realistically, us closing slightly above the 200-week SMA doesn't really do anything for us. It doesn't really give us any evidence. It's happened before, it can happen again. So I'm looking at a higher region. The next level of major resistance on Bitcoin above the 200-week SMA is 23.8K. And why is that? Well, if you look at the structure, before the bull market here in 2020, we actually rejected off this region multiple times on multiple daily candle closes, and it has been acting as resistance over here now. So it's almost like 23.8K is almost like the level that is dividing us between the bear market prices and the bull market prices, in a sense that everything that happened above 23.8K is up here, and now we're just kind of resistance support flipping it. So there is a very decent chance we reject off of it and just continue the downside, which is honestly what I'm preferring here. I think that is more likely to happen. But again, whether it does happen or not is irrelevant to what I think, right? That's a very important thing to know. Whether it does happen or not is irrelevant to what I think. I need to have a plan for both scenarios. This is TA. Everything is based on probability. There's nothing certain about it. So there's obviously a chance that this could break to the upside, of course. And that chance is exacerbated by the fact that the S&P 500 is seeing a relief rally here. And it's exacerbated by the fact that, we could see inflation topped out here. There's many factors about this, and it goes a lot deeper than just my predictions, right? So there's many things that can happen here that could easily push Bitcoin over the line. But, ultimately that's the summary, right? If we see a weekly candle close, which is 3 days, not long, right? If we see a weekly candle close above 23.8K, I would be happy. I say it now, I'd have to analyze at the time, right? I can't tell you what I'm going to feel in 3 days, but at this point, I would be pretty happy to consider that the bottom for the bear market. I'd be pretty happy to consider, the bottom would be in at that point. At this point, that's what I think about it. Now, we do have to note though, that we do have the interest rates numbers in the FOMC decision in about 6 days, which could add some volatility in the market. So this is where it gets complicated, right? So say we close above 23.8K, 3 days later, we've got the interest rate decision, and we could drop back below, right? And at that point, well, obviously I'm going to flip back bearish. So, when it comes to macro predictions, there's a very fine line in the sand between which you should be bullish and bearish, and I think 23.8k is that line. So if we drop above 23.8k and then it looks bullish, I'll probably buy some Bitcoin. But if we drop below it again, I'm selling. You know what I mean? Because we're back in business. It was just a fake out, and fake outs do happen. So it's a very, very tough situation to be in. And then you could actually expand this and say, well, and I'm not doing this, by the way, I'm just being the devil's advocate here. I'm not doing this. I'm just saying, well, you can expand this and say that actually 23.8k isn't the major zone. The major zone is all the way up here at 28.6k to 32k. Because if you look at where all the weekly candle wicks were in 2022, area of support here, area of support here, area of support here. That is the major level in terms of the macro structure. So realistically, if you wanted to be super, super, super conservative, you'd be waiting for a break above this red box, a flip, and then you'd buy over here. But by that time, you've missed out on like a 2x. So I personally wouldn't be doing that. But that's if you're being super conservative with your purchases. You could probably do that. But at this point, like 23.8k weekly candle above that would be good to see. I think that would do a lot for me in terms of changing my bias on the market. But at this point, does it seem like we're going to get there? It's hard to say because a lot of this is not driven by TA. If the short-term TA had anything to say about it, we wouldn't even be in this region at all, right? We would be breaking down this bear flag and we'd probably be down here at 19k. So the short-term TA is not entirely relevant at this point in time. But if we're going to look at the short-term TA objectively, what we can see is that we saw a long wick to the upside past 23.8k, got rejected very sharply, and we're seeing the stochastic RSI top out. Previous times it's happened, we've seen actual corrections following it, right? So these are times that the stochastic RSI has dropped, bottomed out, topped out, and so we can expect the same thing. We can expect a drop here as per the TA, but that's assuming the TA means anything at this point, because it's very clear that this pump on Bitcoin isn't necessarily being driven by TA. I mean, initially, yes, it was. Yes, of course, because we bounced off the macro support line. As you can see here, that yellow line, we bounced off of that. So yes, initially it was. But this recent surge from like 20k to 23k, and the breakout above the bear flag especially, has actually been triggered by the news on the Ethereum merge, and also a pump in the S&P 500, as there have been talks about inflation potentially topping out, which would be great for the S&P 500 and generally marks the bottom. If you look at these yellow lines, these are times in which inflation has topped out. These yellow lines here, this is the inflation chart. These yellow lines are the times in which the S&P 500 has bottomed out. You can see that every time it's happened, inflation has been topped out or already decreasing. So if inflation has secretly topped out here behind the scenes, which is possible, it would make sense for the S&P 500 to find a bottom. And if that happens, it would make sense for Bitcoin to find a bottom. So there's a lot of information. What I'm trying to get at is there's a lot of information here that is simply unknown at this point, that we can't know. And so making macro decisions right now is very, very risky because we simply just don't know the information yet. But to the best of my ability, I would say if we break above and close the weekly candle above 23.8k, I will be bullish on Bitcoin. That's what I'll say. I'm not confident that's going to happen though. I'm not confident it's going to happen. But again, a lot of it's based on inflation, which I can't predict. I can't necessarily predict CPI. I can try. I can see fuel prices are going down, commodity prices are going down, but there's many, many, many metrics you can use to predict inflation, and all of which are very rough, right? So the only thing we can do is really wait and see. But yeah, as of right now, nothing has happened to disprove the bearish argument yet, in my opinion. Yet. Now, in 3 days, when we see that weekly candle close, it very well could. So that's the main point. I'm going to be reiterating this message over the next couple of days because what else am I going to talk about here? We've got 3 days on Bitcoin until actual evidence for the macro bottom is in. There's nothing else more important to talk about than that. So without further ado, let's look at a few things. If you're interested in signing up to Wolves of Crypto V.I.P, where we do altcoin trading signals, again, I only do Bitcoin videos on this channel. So if you want to get altcoin trading signals, which is altcoin analysis and trading setups, that's what you do. You sign up to VIP, you get them every second day, most of which are very, very profitable. And that's not a lie, right? We've got the track record to back it up. And prioritize reply to comments, a 2-hour lecture on market psychology, access to my trading view charts occasionally, and access to an exclusive Telegram group where we're sharing information and charts constantly. We had about 400 messages in there yesterday in just one day. Great community engagement there, all for just $28 USD a month. So go ahead and sign up to that. And then we've got the BitGet Exchange, which we use in the VIP group chat, and I highly recommend everyone uses, regardless of whether you're a VIP or not. Half the fees of Binance, non-KYC. Sign up using my referral link, and you'll get access to a rewards center with over 4,000 USD in rewards. No scam wicks, right? Binance, Coinbase, all those exchanges, FTX, they are renowned to have liquidation wicks that happen as per problems within the exchange and that weren't actually reflecting the price action that scam people. I fell victim to a scam wick in December 2021. Yeah, I think that's correct. We had that big drop from 50Ks down to the mid 40K region, and I lost like 14 grand because of a scam wick. It didn't happen on any other exchanges, but it happened on my exchange. I lost 14 grand, and I made the switch here to BitGet. And I highly recommend you guys do the same thing, because if you're serious about trading, if you're putting a big portion of your capital on the line, of your portfolio on the line, you don't want to fall victim to the exchange. You know, you've got enough to worry about in the charts. So yeah, cheaper than Binance as well, cheaper than every exchange you know about. I highly recommend you sign up to BitGet, use my referral link. And then lastly, of course, Become a Trader, a 10-unit course. Myself and my fellow analyst, Wolves, Mega Whale Crypto, have developed this Crypto Academy course to teach people how to trade. Go to the website, read the bio, read the description. If you're interested in this kind of thing, you can send us an email here at cryptoacademycourses@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you with a pamphlet giving you the payment information, how much it costs, what it looks like, what's involved in it, etc., in video format. So go ahead and do that just to check it out so you can make an educated decision. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you tomorrow in the next one. Cheers.